Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of The Brave Traveler. I'm your host, IR, and you're welcome to hear my neighbor blasting his music. He was playing Coldplay, Yellow, just a moment ago. This sounds like Lana Del Rey. I don't know. I can't really hear it. It just sounds like, you can kind of tell, but it's not so hard that I think I'm going to get hit by it or by moderators like, oh, you can't be doing that, playing music. Did you ask permission? So that's just another fucking thing to deal with. Why not? I am feeling portly. Piggishly portly. I think I'm one of those unlucky people that is actually allergic to gluten. Which sounds stupid. Like, how can you be allergic to gluten? It's bread. Nobody's allergic to bread. It's in the Bible. That's not possible. Well, actually, in the Bible, they used to cook bread using a sun oven, which is some kind of a tempered glass outside. So you can actually use the rays of the sun to cook your bread. And I think it was more like pita bread, where it didn't use any yeast. So I've never had such a bread. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, somebody should go into business to make that kind of bread, cooked with sun ovens. I think there would be a market for it. Anyways, so I've heard of other people that, when they're bulking, they will start eating pastas, breads, pizzas, stuff like that. But they make it sound like they did it for a good while. For me, eating a diet of bread, I mean, not just bread, but bread regularly, whether it was croissants, cheese pizzas, Italian cheese pizzas, so they seem to be healthier, but it's still bread no matter what. Trying to stick to higher quality of bread like sourdough. I don't know if that's higher quality, it's just tasty. Croissant, it's all buttery. Rye bread, whole wheat, it's still bread. No matter how you cut it, it's bread. It's like a time bomb that explodes in slow motion. It's a fat explosion in slow motion. You might be fooled into thinking, okay, I tried one and I still look normal the next day. It's been a week. Maybe I notice it just a little bit, but it doesn't look that bad. Around 2 weeks, I could tell I was putting on weight, but it actually looked good. It gave me a more youthful appearance. It put a little kick in my step, a little extra kick in my step when I was exercising. So I just thought, this is good. This is not that bad. It wasn't until the 4th week that I felt like, what is going on with my belly? It doesn't feel or look like when, I ate too much and that's why I feel so stuffed. It feels like a bloating, like my gut or whatever, not my gut, it's actually not at the bottom gut area, it's more around the top. It feels inflamed. It feels like like a ball. Like you can push at it and it'll push back. Thank you, neighbor, for that. Celiac disease. That's what a gluten allergy is called. Celiac disease. It triggers an immune response, damages the small intestine. Yeah, everything I'm going through, which I would have never thought would have been like that fucking fast. Because I researched bulking and cutting, and I've done both. So, but I never researched it before. You know, I pretty much just thought like, okay, when you're bulking, you want to eat a lot of good stuff, and when you're cutting, you know, just eat little, which I think is the way to go at all times. I indulged because, you know, because they were free, basically. I wasn't the one buying it, so that's usually been the case. If I'm buying for me or my family, I'm very cautious. If someone else is offering, here you go, apparently caution goes out the window. So that's fucked. But I did manage to beat the old adage of if you want to destroy someone, give them money. Which I'm assuming has to mean that people with a lot of money have a lot of options and therefore more room for error. And although people would like to believe that if you're doing a lot of good things, a few bad things, it's not that bad. It's a lie. The bad will eventually drag you down. So even if you're doing a lot of good and a little bit of bad, the bad stuff is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger until you're doing less and less of the good stuff. That's the way it works. Nobody likes that. Nobody wants to believe that. Everybody has a fucking ego. So I researched some gluten allergy pills to reduce the inflammation. And there's nothing conclusive. They all pretty much say it helps some people. It might work for you. It seems to just all be inconclusive. And yet there are pills that are being sold as this can help you maybe. 'Cause money. I think what it is, because yeah, I would love to believe that there's a magical pill out there that's one size fits all for everyone. Like, these pills may help you. These pills might not help me. We're all different, right? So it does sort of tell you straight up that it's a crapshoot. It's just up to you if you want to try it out. But I'm an adult. I know what bread is. I mean, I avoided bread for like 10 years because I know what bread is. When you're first making bread out of dough, regardless of the quality, you know, whether it's rye, rice, whole wheat, refined. No, not refined. It's when it's dough, what does it look like? Gum, right? Okay. You're not supposed to eat gum. Why? Because it sticks to your intestines. So what? Well, while it's there, it's going to be collecting a lot of bacteria. You're supposed to expel And also, that's your intestines is like the last place where you digest and absorb nutrients. So if something gets stuck there, collecting bacteria and whatnot, it's going to absorb that too. So you're going to get sick. And I kind of thought, like, okay, bread, pretty much, you know, when after you chew it up and swallow it, it turns into gum in your guts. It stays there for 6 months. If you're a regular bread eater, just imagine how sick you are, because your intestines are full of that crap. They're full of gum. If you've ever seen, and I don't know why you would, unless you're a weirdo like me, autopsy videos where they will show that a lot of people's intestines were so blocked up with this sort of blackish looking tire rubber substance. I'm pretty sure that's mainly bread, mainly dough products, you know, croissants, hoagies from Subway, whatever, what have you. There's bread in a lot of stuff. So I think I want to stop eating bread. I know that there's positives there, but you really want to like minimize it, like extremely. And if you ever notice these effects, like I'm noticing them on myself, you probably want to take a break from bread for 6 months, I'd say. I'd say at least 6 months. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to have to do. And I love croissants. They're so good. Everything else can go fuck itself, because everything else I had to butter up myself. And yeah, I love butter. Irish butter. That's the best. But croissants come pre-buttered. Yeah, so that's my recommendations. It's up to you. You might have never considered it. You might be a regular bread eater, but maybe, you know, you might take a look at how do you feel? Do you feel that, how do I even describe it? It feels like an inflammation in the midsection, in the belly area, the whole intestinal area. What's the song playing? God, that's so annoying. It's like I recognize it, but I don't. Whatever. Anyways. So yeah, I'm gonna do the 6 months without bread. After that, I guess the only positives I can say about bread, well, the only one that I really feel I can is Jewish rye bread, but I'm assuming any type of rye bread will do. I used to have a slice a day, you know, just regular or toasted without anything else, no butter or anything. And I was fine. In fact, I was losing weight. You know, I would go to the gym, work out, and I'd feel fine. I was cutting during that time. I was eating maybe like once a day, and that, that slice was part of my diet. And I didn't have any inflammation whatsoever. So that's the only type of bread I can honestly recommend. And obviously, it goes without saying, stay away from pastas. I've been, during these last 4 weeks, although I guess now it's been 5 weeks, I was regularly going to this one Italian restaurant and enjoying the gnocchi pasta, the fettuccine alfredo, stuff like that. And man, that stuff is tasty. But I don't think it's healthy whatsoever. It's all about how tasty it is, not at all about, now I have energy. No, the opposite, actually. And I think I now understand why vegetable oil is so horrible. Because I had something that was verified to have used vegetable oil. And man, that felt horrible. Like, within minutes, I could just feel my throat just, I don't know, sharp, acidy, stomach, I don't know, fumes coming up or something horrible. And I had that same feeling from a dish from the Italian restaurant. And they're not supposed to use anything other than olive oil. But I mean, you're not back there in the kitchen, so I'm pretty sure that they might have used it, because I had that same feeling. So if anything ever again says, oh, it has vegetable oil, I'm not eating that ever again. I don't know why it's so horrible. I don't know who could actually enjoy vegetable oil, but I'm not one of them. I'm not sure how much time I have for this episode, but I've been meaning to do another long episode. And I don't know. I don't know why I resist doing another 4.5-hour episode. Maybe it's because when I did that, it wasn't planned. I was just riffing, and I was into it, and I enjoyed it, and it just went the way it did. I mean, also, I was high on coffee. Speaking of coffee, I recently tried light roast blonde coffee. And I think that's the answer for me. I could still feel that little faint phantom twitch on the side of my eye, but it wasn't as present. It was more tolerable, and I didn't feel like I became an asshole like I do with dark roast. Not an unbelievable asshole, more like irritable, easily pissy. Yeah, that's a word. I didn't feel that way with the light roast. And obviously not at all with decaf. But then why even drink coffee? Why even drink coffee? Have cacao or something at that point. Just drink tea, which is what I used to do mainly. I just drank tea, and now I've been a dummy about drinking tea. And I need to change that, because one, has nutritional value and the other one doesn't. The other one is just about, I like this. I can put stuff in it and it's good. Makes me feel all jittery. I like that. So it's for drug addicts. High functioning drug addicts love coffee. Or ex drug addicts adore coffee. I've never been either, so coffee for me is, it can be enjoyable, kind of, but then I have ADHD, so it's going to just exacerbate that even more. If it's hard for me to pay attention to one thing long enough for me to finish it, on coffee is going to be like, oh, okay, you just don't really want to even try, right? Yeah, that's what coffee is for me. For other people, it focuses them. It gives them a pseudo feeling of energy, which they're confusing because it's just anxiety. The light roast seems to be, like a good balance. It's it doesn't make me feel like I'm automatically sabotaging myself, right? It does give me that pseudo boost feeling like, okay, I'm ready to get shit done. Whereas otherwise, I might take a while before I feel ready for anything, which I hate. I hate because it just feels absolutely unproductive. And I have been writing a lot more. Okay, that was not planned, talking about coffee, but it's true. That's part of what happened. Here's something else that happened. I got into, not really. I mean, I guess it's a fight, but more of an altercation with a stupid person. I was with a stupid person who said that I shouldn't say to her to be careful. We were coming from the grocery store, and this stupid person is carrying some things. I'm carrying some things. And she is very accident prone. So I said, be careful. And I said it that way. Okay. I didn't say, let's see, how do you say be careful, but really mean you're a fucking idiot? Be careful! So I didn't say that. I said, be careful, but it doesn't matter. If somebody has messed up things in their mind, they're going to hear things regardless of what you say. You could say, hey, how's the weather, or what time is it? And they might hear the worst possible thing that was actually not said at all. So she snaps at me and says, like, they're my things. I bought them, And I just thought, like, well, that's a very inappropriate thing for an adult to respond when being told, be careful, I mean, it's just nonstop like that with this person. With some people, it's like that. They're immature. They use any traumatic event they went through as an excuse, as their own personal permission slip for acting like an idiot. I said to her, like, I should be able to say, like, be careful. It doesn't matter if they're yours or not. That's not the point. The point was to be careful to prevent an accident. That's it. It's a good thing. It's kind of fucked up. It's like, let's say you're driving with someone who happens to be an idiot, and they run over curbs at all times, and they're very careless, the type of people that will have full-blown conversations through text messages while driving. Texting, not. I've been present when cops took away her vehicle because they saw her doing it. Anyways, and you want to say drive a little slower, be careful. What if they snap at you because they don't want to be told these things? They don't give a shit that you feel unsafe, that you want the other person to acknowledge, and make you feel better, so you don't feel like, oh, I might just die because of this person. And all you want to hear is like, yeah, don't worry, it'll be all right, I'll be careful. What if they snap at you and they get mad? Like, what do you mean? That's kind of psychotic. It's kind of crazy. Who would want to be with that type of an adult? Like, you might expect that from a teenager, right? Or a young adult who's still hasn't really matured. How about a full-blown middle-aged woman? Just, what? Are you trying to say I'm stupid? It's like, bitch, shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. Some people will just never grow up, I guess. It all depends on how they view life, how they grew up, where they are, the people they have around them. I swear, I noticed this a long time ago when I was much younger, that it really doesn't matter how old a person gets. I dated this one woman in Indiana when we were teenagers. Well, close to 20, I guess. And she was incredibly mature. Her parents were a lot older. They seemed to be like her grandparents, but they were her biological parents. And so if you've ever met somebody whose parents are like grandparent age, they seem to be more calm, more just non-aggressive, not assholes or anything. But her mom was recovering from cancer while smoking the entire time. And that lady, man, I have no idea how old she is. She's still alive. Her father isn't. All the smoking. Or at least I'm assuming so. I would bet money that he'd still be alive if it wasn't for the smoking. Anyways, her mom would throw the biggest fits and slam the fucking door all the time. I mean, that was driving me crazy. But I would see how quickly, like from snap of a finger, she would go from very upset to smiling and giggling and doing a little dance in place whenever she got her way. It was creepy, bipolar. And that's not the only time I've seen it, but it doesn't matter how old somebody gets. They can just be childish and immature forever. It's not something you age out of. Not everybody grows up in the exact same situation. So people do mature at a different pace depending on their experience. And honestly, some never do. Some plateau. And I don't know who the hell these people are supposed to end up with. Maybe they're not supposed to end up with anyone, honestly. I don't know who the fuck would be their ideal candidate, but whoever they have in mind, they're wrong. They have to be the person that they want to be with before actually getting with that person. It's just so stupid and obvious, or it should be. Because their ideal person, which I guarantee you 100%, is not anything like the way they themselves behave. I know, because I used to be that stupid, moronic, childish person. And so I can recognize it when I see it in someone else. And I know that there's nothing attractive about that. You know, there's nobody that would want to deliberately be with someone like that. You have to grow up. Now, for me, I grew up because of my daughter, who will be turning 9 this year. You know, you have to. Or at least that's how I look at it. I know that there's a ton of shitty parents, moms and dads. Let's not pretend it's just dads and that all women are created equally. There is no distinction between a bad woman and a good woman. Come on. I mean, maybe you believe that because you're part of the Baphomet Club or the Freemasons and you think the Gnostic shit is true. I think the reason why I know that the Gnostic stuff is fake is because, regardless of me being a published writer or not, I've been writing stories my entire life. I've been studying stories my entire life. And that's a story. That's not a historical fact. I believe wholeheartedly that they took real things that they know about, little secrets, and then just sort of fit it in a way where you might go like, oh, so the Bible is a lie. That's a strong possibility. And by possibility, I mean I'm 90% sure that most of the stuff in the Gnostic texts are just deliberate bullshit. I don't feel like going in depth into that or Jesus' name. I do believe he existed. I don't believe that we have his name, since it changes from every language to the other instead of staying the same. Like, supposedly it's Yeshua in Aramaic, and yet Yeshua is a name that can be found in Genesis, and it's not referring to Jesus. And Jesus sounds way too much like I am in French. Je suis. Either that or it says I Zeus. I don't know. I just don't believe that's his actual name. Anyways, let's get off of that. So, to wrap up this stupid story about a stupid person, she blows up at me, and then she says to me, I felt you were calling me stupid or something. I'm like, no, I wasn't. But then she blows up. She leaves. And then she sends me a message where she's cursing me out. Are you kidding me? Okay, so do you see the irony in this? So we actually had a very nice time, and then all of a sudden, be careful. What? Like I just cursed out her family or something for no apparent reason. You know, I'm saying that's how she took be careful. Like I say be careful, she hears. You can only imagine. But and she admits to it, right? She said like, "Well, I felt you were calling me stupid." And her big argument is like, "You're not perfect either." It's like, really? Thanks for the insight. That's clearly what I was trying to say. So stupid. Yeah. But there's no doubt when it comes to her insults. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you got offended because I said be careful and you took it like I cursed you out, but you directly cursed me out, but that's okay. It's like, as soon as she started with that, I just blocked her ass and I just thought like, what? This is so dumb. I don't have to put up with being insulted. Goodbye. Have a nice life. I'm done with you. This is like I don't know how many hundreds of times this person has insulted me, or why I was stupid enough to even tolerate it. So hopefully, with the help of whoever's good, whoever's on the good side, help me out over here. I'm done with this person. Thank you. Moving on. It's probably why I didn't upload anything yesterday. I just didn't feel like talking. I thought, okay, this one's going to be shit. Why would I want anyone to listen to that if I'm not even into it, I recently heard these two audiobooks. One was The Book of King Og and The Book of Lamech. Both of these seem to be kind of bullshit, and some of it seems to be spot on, like, yeah, I knew it. The Book of King Og is, I did some research on it because at first you won't be able to believe what the heck you're hearing. It's got a lot of Baal worship. It talks about how not all of the giants died, which is something that I've kind of felt for years, that's just obvious. And it straight up says that some of the giants grabbed on to Noah's Ark. They grabbed on to the roof and they just hanged on for dear life. Which kind of suggests that maybe, though the Nephilim were big, they might have not been that big. Instead of 300 feet, they might have been 20 feet. Even Fittest Flat Earther, he put out a video recently suggesting the same. I will say this about that book. While it's completely blasphemous, because it treats Baal as though he were the god in Genesis and not the enemy god. There are some really cool fights. Memorable even. Og and his son versus Nimrod was an epic fight. I got people over now, so I'll cut the episode short right here. And maybe I'll keep it going tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see. Because sometimes the damn Blue Yeti doesn't work when I hook it up to my iPhone. Thanks, Blue Yeti. You shit. I'm kidding. It's a great microphone. I just wish it would be more consistent.